Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Ekabo Home Financial Freedom Mastermind Group. My name is Niyi Adewole, and I am excited to join you today for one of our sessions where it's really an open session for individuals to be able to call in and kind of talk about what they're working through. The Ekabo Home Financial Freedom Mastermind Group is for those that do not believe they were put on this earth to work 40 to 60 hours per week to retire, hopefully at 65, and then try to enjoy life. It's for those who believe that you can do this and achieve it earlier if you have some focused efforts. So I'm looking forward to today. We've got a couple people calling in already. My guy Desmond, how you doing, man?
What's up, man? I'm good. Can you hear me?
I can hear. Are you calling in from dinner? What's going on here?
No, the chef is away right now, so
ah,
the alternative chef had to come in here and do what he does. But I'm making
nah,
some ribs
man.
right now. I wish
I
I
can
could
I
show
can,
you,
I
but
can hear the DoorDash leaving right now, man. I hear the DoorDash just
dude,
left.
I'm on this challenge right now. Both of us, me and Abby, it's called 75 Hard, right? I don't know if you've heard about it, but basically every day you're tasked to drink a gallon of water, work out for an hour and a half a day, and at least 45 minutes of that has to be outside,
Hmm.
right? Yeah, so that part is tough for sure. That one's tricky. What else? Taking progress pictures every day. We got it on the fridge, and also following a meal plan, right? So no DoorDash, no Uber Eats lately. It's been here in the crib, yeah, for about we've been in it for about 15, 16 days. So
Okay, so you got over that like 7 day hump to where now it starts to become almost a habit.
yeah, yeah, we did. We did. It was tough. It was tough. Well, and it's funny too, because the first 7 days, I think we were so hyped about it, right? And we were like super pumped. So it seemed like the workouts are going, pretty easy, and the water was, you know, tasted pretty good. It's pretty easy to drink. But now, like week 2, week 3, we're like, oh man, like water again, like another gallon, like got to go outside. It's like midnight. We haven't worked out yet. So, shit, like another hour and a half coming up. But yeah, man, it's been fun. So we've got about 60 days to go. It's going to take us to like the beginning of July, I think. And yeah, it's
Let
been
me ask
fun.
you this on that, because I have heard about it, but never described
Yeah.
in this detail to where I actually kind of, okay, it's a lot going on. So for the
Yeah.
outside workout, does walking count?
So walking does count. And we'll do that, right? Because like we'll definitely try to put some recovery days in there. And I mean, we both worked out before that, but it was maybe 4 or 5 days. Maybe we'll slip to 3 days if it's a busy week, right? But now going every day, we have to have those recovery days in there. So yeah, we'll put walking on the schedule maybe 2 or 3 times a week, probably closer to two, but we'll try to have a brisk pace while we're doing it, right? We won't just be lollygagging along. We're trying to have a nice walk while we're exercising, right? And
I
it's
love it.
funny too because I started out saying I don't want to do walking as my exercise. I think 5 or 6 days in, I was like, you know what, walking doesn't sound so bad.
Dude, well, as soon as you said 45 minutes, I was like, yeah, you gotta include some leisurely walks, you
No,
know,
for sure, for sure,
in that one. I
for sure.
One of the things we started doing just from a relationship standpoint with
Hmm.
my fiance is walking after work, right? And we try to
Yeah,
target a minimum of 3 days per week because you can go a whole
nice,
day where you're busy running around and then kind of get at night, you eat and you're just tired, right? And so
for
it's like,
sure,
hey, let's make a concerted effort to after the work day go for a walk. And
for
it's
sure.
awesome. Sometimes we walk down all the way to the belt line, other times just walk
Hmm.
around the neighborhood. But it's good. And honestly, I think it helps like digest and all that stuff too. There's some benefits
Absolutely.
to it.
Absolutely, yeah. It's one of those things I can do, right after I eat if I want to, right? And like it not like be like hurting, right? Or like my stomach like feel all like juggly or whatnot. And yeah, man, the belt line we've definitely been taking advantage of. Before that, we weren't really on it, but now we're on the belt line at least like 2 or 3 times a week, and it's been nice. Yeah, super cool trail.
Nice.
Hmm.
Eric, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Super good. Super good. Anything new pop up in your world?
One thing I was reviewing, I don't know if you saw, I think Airbnb released like a new summer release for so they have like some additional features on it. So I was just like looking through those. I think the main ones that look interesting in me were that you can put like the checkout instructions like on the app so that people can see it in the listing now, like what you asked them to do. They added some more features about like looking, I think for booking a specific room. So I think that to make that easier for people to book that. And I think they also added some things to add like more things about your profile, like you as a person, so you can put like your interests and more blurbs about you. I think that should show up. Like, I think particularly when people are booking rooms or like where it's like a shared space, they might be living with the host. They can see more information about the host that they'll actually be living with, like when they're booking it.
That's pretty
Interesting.
cool, especially like the having the checkout instructions listed. Did you already update yours to have it in there as well?
Yeah, so yeah, I updated mine. I haven't seen what it looks like, but it gives you like a few options about like what they need to do. So it'd be like lock things up, return the key. I think it was like do something with towels. So there's like a few options and then there's like additional options. And so you just click like the sections that you need them to do. So it'll be like lock up and then you can put specific instructions for what they need to do. Then those specific instructions they can only see if they actually book the place. So when people are just looking at it, they'll see I need to, lock up, turn off lights or something like that, and some general things. But then they won't actually be able to see what specific thing is for your house. So that probably helps with some security things and stuff like that.
That's pretty solid. I like that. The we still have, the hospitable sending the message and things of that nature,
Mhm.
but there's times where a guest will ask like early in the day because they're going to leave super early, and it's like, hey, the message doesn't come out till 8 or
Mhm.
7 p.m. So I like it. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. I saw that piece pop up, but in full transparency, I didn't have time to read it, so I was like, hey, I'll come
Mhm.
back to this. So thank you for giving us the highlights
Yeah.
on that piece. I like how they show
Yeah.
with like the little video too. It's kind of cool.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for putting that out there. And it's funny because I have the hospitable messages as well. So when you first mentioned it, I was thinking, oh, well, I don't really need to do that. Like I'm good on the update. But it's important to keep up with those updates, I feel like, because I feel like you should always, no matter, even if you are sending the messages, like go on there and like put that, right? Like, oh, you'll receive the checkout instructions like through a message or whatever. Cause like I've seen, some listings have certain areas or certain boxes like not checked, and it can make your listing look like more sparse compared to others when like you're going on there and like some people really look at like all the boxes, right, and all the details and whatnot. So I feel like it's nice to, no matter what it is, like keep up with those updates. I need to plug into that like
Mhm.
email chain or whatever it might be to get those updates because it's, yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah, so you have to like opt in to them. So I think
Okay.
there's like they're coming out in the summer. So if you want like the early release, you have to opt into them, and then if you
Okay.
opt in, you like are kind of stuck with them until forever. You
Like,
might
hey,
want to
we
check
got
if you
this.
want them or not. But yeah.
You're like, I'm actually trying to opt out right now.
Right. To that point, I was having a, and this is complete. I'm taking a completely different direction. But I was having a conversation about Netflix. 'Cause I listen to earnings calls and things of that nature to kind of learn about it. And
Mhm.
pretty soon they're going to start cracking down on that multiple
As we
people use
should.
of one. And so this just made me think about that. Like when that opt in comes, I'm not opting in. Like I'm not opting into anything. Like, hey, you got a Netflix update? No, no, I'm going to decline that one because I know what it is. I know what they're trying to do.
Yeah, they've been trying to
So
do that for a while. I'm so curious how they're going to solve that problem because, like, how do you? It's such an interesting problem to solve because people have so many different devices now. Like, you can't really. Yeah, we'll see.
honestly, but in true reality, it's
Yeah,
not going to be that hard. How many times have you had to re-sign in after 3 months, or like,
right.
hey,
It's
we
just
got
going
a
to be
push
like more
notification?
restrictive. Yeah,
All they got to do is say, hey, every 3 months we're going to send a text message, and you got to type in this code. Boom, it's
yeah.
gone. Like, are you going to text your somebody you knew three years
Your
ago, like,
ex's.
hey? But for housekeeping, really quick, there's two things that are coming up, and I think both of you guys are already potentially signed up for it. One is we have an event, live event coming May 19th on Friday. Ricardo from the One Brokerage is actually going to be flying into town. It's going to be his first time in Atlanta. He's planning to stay
Hey,
here a couple of days, so we all may be able to link up with him. And we're going to be hosting a meetup out in Buckhead. We've already got the location. We've already got the catering. It's going to be some pretty good food, probably better than what Desmond's making right now. And so if you're able to make it,
nah.
go ahead and go
So
ahead
you don't
and
know
go
me in the
to
kitchen. See that? Obviously, you don't know me
hey,
in the kitchen, man. I'm
hey,
gonna
come
be
on
there,
now.
but
Right.
yeah, yeah, that was tough.
But that's one housekeeping item. And the other housekeeping item is we have a pretty cool opportunity here where we're going to be hosting a meetup actually at that mansion. And Desmond, we still got to get you there. That meetup is coming May 21st, and it's with the Georgia RIA. They do an event once a month where they go to one of the investors' projects. And so for this month, Liban, who is a buyer's agent on the Ekabo home team, actually got this set up and said, "Hey, Nee, are you open to it?" I said, "Absolutely." And so we're going to be bringing some investors through that mansion, and we're actually going to be putting some people to work. So I'll order some food for that, and we'll be putting the last pieces of furniture together and doing kind of a all hands on deck build day. I can send
I
you the
love
info.
that. That's so smart too, right? To like utilize. Hey, you have all these people. Let's might as well build some furniture while we're here too, right?
They don't even know what's coming yet. But hey, guys, it's great. Let's talk about it for 30
All right,
minutes and then let's
breakout
get our
sessions.
hands dirty.
That's awesome.
Old bait and switch. Kareem, how you doing, man?
Classic. Yeah, nice. Yeah, looking forward to that. So, sorry, what day did you say that would be?
So May 19th is the meetup with
Right.
Ricardo, and then May
Okay.
21st, that Sunday, is going to be the build day
Nice.
/ Georgia
Okay.
RIA meeting.
Well timed. Nice.
hmm So it's going to be good. It's going to be an interesting May. But Kareem, what you got going on, man?
Trying to figure out that permit situation for East Point. It is complicated.
I thought you were permitted already like last year.
No, I looked it up and then I remember there was like some kind of a blocker, like a document of some sort that I was like, I have no idea how to, like the site plan, for example, and the floor plan. That like the site plan that doesn't even exist. I like who do I talk to about that? Like no one. There's nobody, right? No one knows. So I knew I had to dig deeper for these type of documents. So I procrastinated, pushed it to the side because I just didn't have the bandwidth for it at the time. I do now. So I went on a website called. I had it open.
And sorry, just to ask too, this is East Point. You're in East Point, and they have a permitting for short-term rentals.
Yeah, that's specifically East Point.
And Kareem might have
Can
just
you hear me now?
froze.
I was gonna say
Kareem,
I
did you
wasn't
hear
sure if it
that?
was me.
Kareem, did you hear Desmond's question?
Desmond was asking if I was in East Point.
Sorry, I think you cut for a second, but I was asking. East Point has a short-term rental permitting like requirement.
Yeah,
Interesting. Dang.
yeah.
See,
Is it
that makes me
strictly
wonder:
report?
is College Park next? Sorry.
Is College Park part of Atlanta, city of Atlanta?
It's kind of its
Uh,
own thing. It's like it's yes, everybody considers College Park yes, but it's not a part of
Oh,
like the.
same.
Yeah, I
same.
thought East Point's the same way, so that's why I brought that up because I think College Park and East Point have the same setup. They're in Fulton County, but they're not Atlanta. But you can
Right.
put Atlanta on the mailbox, like on your mail, and it'll come. Um,
Exactly. Exactly.
okay, yeah. So that makes me wonder: are we next, right? Because I figured that the kind of surrounding areas didn't really have those requirements. I knew Atlanta did, and it's getting more strict, but I wasn't aware that East Point did. So that's interesting. And sorry, Nia, I didn't mean to cut your question off either.
No, this is
No,
good.
I know
Yeah,
Henry County is doing that as well now.
Henry.
Henry County, city of Atlanta, obviously. Now this definitely the city of East Point. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if College Park and the other surrounding, areas are doing that as well.
And right now for East Point too, is it just that you have to have a permit, but like there's no really other restriction beyond that?
No, it's just to get to the permit. That's
Okay.
the problem because they gotta want you to register and they gotta want you to have a business license, and from the business license, using that, you get to apply it to the permit.
Wow.
There's a few stages that you gotta go through.
they want to sure that you're motivated enough for this.
They
Yeah,
want
I
you to
think
care enough to do
honestly,
that
I
stuff.
think it's a blessing in disguise as well because they're creating a barrier to entry to a market that had no barrier to entry. So you had
Yeah.
virtually unlimited competition, right?
Right.
Until if you go through that, you can ensure that a little bit of competition will be blocked. Some people will be less motivated to jump with you on that ship or on that game, right?
And Kareem, to that point, like that's exactly how I'm viewing it.
Yeah.
I've got two within the city of Atlanta in EAV that are licensed, and the renewal process was easy. It was just get this document notarized and send it in, which I did. So now we're in there,
Yeah.
and with the new kind of updates to the law that they're talking about for the city of Atlanta, they've at least proposed striking out the owner occupant piece, but they're going to impose something that a lot of other cities have. I think we talked about this before, but
Mhm.
like for example, in Louisville, Kentucky, I own a couple units, and I was looking into, hey, what would a short-term rental look like? This was like 2 years ago, and I found I couldn't get any of mine licensed because they had a 500-foot rule, where if there was a short-term rental within 500 feet, you couldn't have another one unless you're in like a mixed-use district. And so I was ruled out immediately. And Atlanta has similar, except they're talking about 2,000 feet, which I think is crazy. But with the caveat that if you already have the Airbnb up and running, you could get grandfathered in. And so I literally just put an offer on a duplex earlier today. And I'm going to be actively putting offers out there personally because I just got pre-approved, got my taxes done and all that stuff to get another
Nice.
one in city of Atlanta or very close so we can get grandfathered in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Actually
yeah,
going
just
for it.
getting like these documents that they were asking for. I'm on some maps, and I'm putting in like the parcel number, like the number for the lot, and they're giving me like a map view. And I have like my pen, and I'm like literally drawing the borders, and like this is the home, this is a garage, this is the carport. And I hope that works because like otherwise I have no way of getting that floor plan and site plan.
You could
Still,
pay for a surveyor, but I mean that's a surveyor. It can't cost more. I want to say it's like between 500 and 1,000 for a surveyor to come out and do that for you, and then it's official. But hopefully this works. If it doesn't, I would look for a surveyor.
okay.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much a survey would cost. Like I gonna get a survey, and for context, I have a 4 unit. They quoted me $800. I'm like, man, I'll just guess. Like at
See, I'll
this point,
survey it
like,
myself.
yeah, literally, no, that's so funny you say that because you know me, I'm like DIY, right? So I was out there with like the little roller measure thing and ruler stick basically, but I ended up just saying, hey, I'm gonna call it like right here
Yeah,
based off the
the
plot map and based off the deed and whatnot. I was like, this seems good.
hey, all I know is the line was probably crooked. The line for the we can't have that, man. But Robbie, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you been?
Not much. I mean, that's the smile of somebody that now has money coming into his pocket, man. Dinner is on you, Robbie.
Oh
Dinner
yeah,
is on you.
feeling good. Yeah, man. It was crazy. The first people that actually stayed there, through a party, of course, and someone was in the bottom unit, so they were texting me at like 2 a.m. I could see on the Zoom that, somebody had a speaker on their shoulder that they were carrying into the house at like probably like 1 a.m. So, you know, thankfully, nothing in the house was damaged, so it's all good. But it was a lesson to not take those guests that have no Airbnb profile. But I also got someone who just requested to be in the top unit for like a whole month with no Airbnb profile. So I'm thinking about just running it back, trying it again. We'll see. We'll see what they say.
A month is different. A month is different. The party
Yeah.
thing, I can tell you my experience. My first party came from a VRBO before I knew what I was doing on VRBO. And they broke a $800 couch that was brand new. And it was not fun, but you do learn from those and start asking more questions. I can tell you some of the questions I asked, but I'd love to hear from Kareem, Eric, Desmond, really Kareem. I know you have kind of a questioning piece now. How do you handle those type of guests?
Screening? You mean how to screen them?
Screening.
I just followed your guidance essentially. I request if they don't have 5 stars, if they don't have reviews, I request IDs. There's a way to put in your email address without it being blocked. Just like spread out the font, really. Don't use the @ sign. Don't use .com, stuff like that. Because I mean, it's trial and error. You can try them, and then like the message will keep getting sent with like we'll just get dots instead of your email showing. So essentially, on VRBO, you can request them to attach images in the chat, but they're trickier with the email. But you can still request images. On Airbnb, there's nowhere to attach files, but still you request ID images for everyone who's over 18. Communicate with them, see how they respond, see the rate of responses. Are they giving you like a one word response, like yes, no, maybe, or they're like really giving you details like, yeah, my wife and I are coming, da da da, coming for that reason, and we're gonna see this person. The more details they give you, I tend to feel more comfortable. If they're over 25 years old, it's okay, and if they are from outside of like your geographical area, that's okay. But if you get someone who's under 25 who lives like half an hour away from your property and they're not responsive, then you know what it is.
Right, right. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I had a bad feeling about those people, but I just, wanted to get the booking. So I just was like, just thought it was worth the risk. And, at the end of the day, nothing really happened. I got him out of the house before the second night because I was pretty sure they were going to throw another party, the
Oh
second
wow.
night. So got him out then, and then the person who was in the lower level, she ended up giving me a really good review because she was happy with how I handled it and took care of the situation or whatever. So
Nice work. Nice work. And I always love kind of hearing just the first experience of getting that first booking because it kind of keeps everybody else going. But what did it feel like when you got that first booking and kind of the dollars started rolling in, man?
oh, it felt great, of course. I had messed up the calendars on Hospitable, so I had like the first booking downstairs. Somehow I had it so it blocked the calendar for upstairs. I think I synced them, so I was wondering why the upstairs unit wasn't getting any booking or any looks or whatever. And then I finally figured it out, and the next day, it started getting booked up. It got booked for last weekend, which was the first weekend, and it's booked up. Both units are booked up for this coming weekend too. So, it's been good.
That's dope. That is cool. I am actively on the search. I don't know if you heard this, but I'm trying to buy the next one. Just put an offer out today, strong offer for like a beautiful duplex, like fully renovated. And I got the text from the agent that, hey, there's a lot of interest. We're thinking about waiting. So I'm trying to put the pressure on him like, hey, man, you got till tomorrow to make a decision. So I'll keep you posted on that.
It's another house hack or
This is going to be purchased as a house hack because I've been in this house for what 2 years now, and it's time to make a move. And there's a lot of equity built in here, but I plan to keep this house, buy that house as a house hack, and then keep growing from there. But yeah, this will be either a single family with in-law suite, duplex, triplex, quadplex, whatever I can find. Now, because I left the W-2, I'm having to use like a non-qualifying mortgage that's based on bank statements. And so I have to put down 10%, but it's fine because I still look at the Metro Atlanta market as one that is continuing to grow, one that once interest rates kind of settle down and come down a little bit is going to explode. And so I want to just get as many plots of land as I can.
I was gonna ask
So
you, so if you're doing a house hack and you're already, in your property, obviously, and you don't know necessarily when you want to move, like what would what would you do to have a place, officially or like legally labeled as your primary residence? Would it just be like your ID or some bills or something, or because
yes,
obviously they don't know, where you're staying, but
yeah, and this is the cool thing about like short-term rentals and things of that nature, right? Because if you're doing a short-term rental, all the bills are going to be in your name anyway, right? And the place is furnished. Who's to say that you don't go and stay there, from time to time? Whereas if you were going to do this and then go long-term rent the house that's quote unquote your personal, now you've signed a lease where somebody else owns that and it's listed on these sites to where you can get in a lot of trouble for that. And so to answer your question, you could short-term rent that. The one piece that may need to change, to your point, is that driver's license or the ID. But a lot of times with most of the stuff that you're switching over, people don't ask for that. The only time they would is if you were in the city of Atlanta when they were still doing the owner occupant need. That's when they ask you for the driver's license to see that it matches up. But aside from that, I think you're pretty solid with that Airbnb piece,
got
hypothetically
you.
speaking.
Right.
I was gonna ask you too. So you're not running back the FHA for this next one?
I can't. So because I have 2 years, right, of the real estate piece on my like the 1099, but the
Hmm.
first year I literally closed one deal because I got licensed in November, right? November of 21, I got
Mm,
licensed. I was like, you know what, let me get my license, start doing this thing. And so I have like, maybe 5 grand on there. And then the next year is solid, but when you combine the two, it's like nothing. So they're like, hey, you can get qualified for, and I have all these mortgages on me. And so they're like, hey, we're not qualifying you for much. Plus my current
Right.
home, which I plan to keep, is like $4,500 mortgage. I don't pay all that because I'm house hacking, but they don't count the house hack for your personal home. And so they're like, yeah, you're negative 4,700. We really can't approve you for that, but we can do bank statement financing. And so long story short, for this year, I'm going to do the 10% down, which is a personal one. So it's better than 20%. And then next year, it should be a lot better. And so I'll do
Right.
the FHA. So I'll keep my FHA till next year.
Nice. Yeah, I wanted to run it back later this year, but I have my current one, and I'm not gonna have enough equity at that point unless the house just appreciates like crazy in the next 6 months to refi out and then be eligible for another FHA. So I think I'm gonna have to like go duplex and just try to muster up like 10% if I can do that. But ideally, I want to try to just maximize every year and like get four. But I realize now that that's not realistic with at least my own capital, like only my own capital right now. So we'll
There's
see.
nothing wrong with what our guy Eric has, right? I like those because you can put 5%, or what I have. You can put 5% down on a single family with in-law suite, completely separate. It's like a duplex. Like I'd be going for that if I had the option, but I literally can't qualify conventionally this year. I got to put 10% regardless.
Mhm.
So I'm like, all right, let me just go for a duplex, triplex, quadplex if I got to put 10%.
But and you said quadplex. Would you be able to put 10% on the quadplex?
Yeah,
No,
because
right?
this approval that I'm getting is based on bank statement financing. So my interest rate's going to be higher than a normal person's, right? Mine's probably going
Mm-hmm.
to be in the sevens when people are coming down to 6.5, which is
Mm-hmm.
fine. But I just put down 10%. And I can go up to, the 4 units, which is awesome. Whereas, FHA, you can put down 3.5%, get up to 4 units, and kind of go from there. I'm putting down 10%. But the sting is taken out a bit because if I pick the right property and there's a 3% commission, I can use the commission toward the down payment. And really, I'm putting down 7%. And then if you
That's lit.
negotiate some credits, right, and knock out kind of the closing costs and maybe a little bit more, you can really start to make it make sense.
Nice. That's awesome. But and
Yeah.
I think even still though, being able to go for the four like that's still a lot to muster up, right? Because the purchase price is going to be much higher. So that can be even like it's crazy how much it changes when those numbers start to creep up the down payment. So
And
makes
Desmond,
sense.
to that point, like you'd be surprised, dude. The fourplexes and that are done up and the triplexes, they're going very quickly. Like as soon as it gets put in the market, it's gone. I don't know if I'm paying attention, but you have a very rare property. If you hang on to that thing for a couple years, it's going to do well. The only piece that's semi sort of limiting is the one bedroom aspect across the board.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that you're going to have numbers to back it up and potentially be able to
Mm-hmm.
sell it fully furnished with 2 units, that's a
Mm-hmm.
major win, and that'll drive the price up.
We'll see. I'll keep you posted.
Hey,
The
come
home
on now.
bot's keeping me posted. That
Yeah,
stuff's cool.
I
Yeah,
like HomeBot. I
that
like
stuff's cool.
HomeBot. Yep. But Eric, what else you got going on, man, in your world?
Not much, I guess. I'm curious to hear what everyone else is up to.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, one other thing that we're up to. So we talked about the Taylorsville Investment Group project, right? And kind of we launched that syndicate. And so we're raising money. Literally about an hour ago, I was on a call with investors working through, it was the second call with them, working through kind of the numbers and hey, this is what it could look like if you invest X and X and X. And funny story that came up this week, dirt is actually worth a good amount of money. So we broke ground on the storage units, and right now we have 2,000 truckloads worth of dirt because we had to grade the whole like area, and it cost a lot of money to do that. And we literally are talking to 3 or 4 people that are bidding on it right now because it's topsoil dirt. Apparently, you can use this, like Home Depot and all these people use it, and so we can pull in about 140 to $150,000 based on this dirt. We have it right now. The highest bidder right now is at $70 per load, and there's 2,000 loads. We're trying to push it up to 150 total. But long story short, we're going to be able to use that money to act in place of some of our down payment, which is crazy to me, right? I'm like, dude, like people are buying dirt, but yes, you can flip dirt. And so now it's got our mind turning when we get to the townhomes. We're going to have significantly more dirt And so we're going to keep these guys contact to see if we can't recoup some of the cost of actually grading it by selling the dirt back. So
you're in the dirt flipping game now.
We're in the dirt flipping game, man. Hey, when they said 6-figure plus, I said, all right, let me perk up. Let's start having conversations about this.
It's crazy what you can make money on. That's crazy. Like, that is awesome.
Never think about it.
That's good to hear. Yeah, seriously.
And we were thinking about the cost of trying to get rid of it because we're like, okay, we got to haul all this away, and now people are paying us to come and grab it. So it's like, okay, that works. But that's my interesting story for the week. Anybody else? What you guys got? Robbie told us his. He had a party he wasn't invited to. All right, he told us about it.
I also almost got Airbnb almost tried to kick me off the platform too. I
Really?
forgot to share that because I thought I could be slick and get a fake review, and they just caught it. And they were like, "Yeah, this is not a real review. If you do this again, we're gonna have to take action on your account."
Wait, did you try to do the review, or did you have somebody else do it?
I just like a friend, but I think I got caught because I gave them, I changed the price and made it like $10, and then they wrote the review and they were like, "Yeah, I don't know how they caught it so quick, but they flagged it."
Yeah. Not saying I've done fake
AI
reviews.
at work.
Yeah. Hey, come on now.
Right.
It's getting better.
Yeah.
I've done it.
Yeah. But
that's the only thing is just that
thing.
I went too low on the price. If I had just paid regular or let them pay regular and then, paid them back or whatever, then I don't think it would have got flagged, but the $10 thing was that's just too much.
They're getting smarter. So they probably saw your new account. There's a big discount and a short stay, short duration.
Facts.
All these things lined up. So it had a red flag in the system.
And we got someone in the chat saying they were going to do that too. I think what Kareem just mentioned is spot on. If you're going to do that, right, make sure the price is reasonable. All right.
Make them pay full price. No discounts over here.
No discounts. That is fair. Anything else? What you guys got?
So I got one. So I was telling you about the arbitrage piece, right? A couple sessions ago. Still want to look into that and still planning on making that happen. But when you mentioned the management piece, you kind of got me thinking. I was like, well, shit, you're right. It's definitely lower risk compared to personal risk, at least compared to the arbitrage, right? So I'm trying to approach that now and see what that's going to look like. And I have a friend, and I feel like money can be made here from any host, right? Where they see you doing well, they see you have good reviews. And I have a friend who's trying to get an Airbnb. He works a ton though, doesn't really have time. So he's like, man, I would, basically pay you to be the manager and also help me get this off the ground, help me learn, right? Yada yada. So I was like, yeah, man, let's do it, right? I'll basically help you set up an arbitrage, right? Instead of doing the arbitrage myself. And I still want to take on one myself later in the year, maybe after seeing how his goes, to use his as the guinea pig. Not that I think it's going to go poorly or anything, right? And I want to, I think, stay in this area and kind of stick to what I know, at least right now. But I was like, yeah, man, let's do it. So very soon we're going to start, and we're getting the projections together, getting the spreadsheets and whatnot, making sure that it's going to make sense, but at least based off, how it's been going, for me at least, I think I'm like, yeah, dude, this could definitely make sense. So we're getting that together, and soon we're going to start reaching out to owners and trying to convince some landlord, whoever it might be, to allow us to do this, right? And actually, my girlfriend Abby sent me a post from Facebook literally 30 minutes ago. She's like, oh, I think this would be perfect, because now it's all I talk about in the house, where she's like, is this lady who's renting her house out, and the previous person she was renting to was already doing Airbnb, but now that person's moving out. So looking for some opportunity like that where, ideally it's an easy conversation and the person's like, oh yeah, no problem, you can do Airbnb out of here, no rent increase, yada yada. And basically I'll become the manager for him. But I wanted to ask you, Niyi, right? I know, you do this kind of end-to-end management as well, right? So from setup to operations and whatnot. I'm wondering how do you gauge what's a fair price for the setup, right? Because I think the operations piece is talked about a lot on podcasts and talked about pretty often, like, oh, it'll be 30% or something close to that, I think is typically how it goes. I'm guessing that's 30% of revenue or like after the cleaning fee and whatnot. But for the setup piece, I'm like, man, like, how do you, gauge that? Like, do you base it off of like bedroom number, right? Because I'm guessing it's going to be, more expensive if you're doing the mansion setup versus like you do a 1-1 for me, right? Like it's going to be, I'm sure, a lot more involved if you're doing a bigger space, right? I think typically yours are a few bedrooms, right? Bigger homes, right? So I'm just wondering, how do you gauge like what's fair for the setup? How do we like manage those costs, right? Like, do you just give me a credit card and like, does the host give me a credit card and let me go crazy, right? Do I like, how I guess I'm asking, how do you kind of structure that, right, in your management company and
Yeah.
getting the setup together? Yeah.
So there's two costs that you got to think about, and this is all conversations with the owner, right? One is the cost of the furniture, and are you talking about the furniture or just the setup, like your time involved,
Really,
or both?
both time involved mostly, because the
Okay.
the cost of the furniture, I think I have a fair idea on, since I've done the setup a couple of times, but more so like the cost of time, right? And like gauging like, yeah, just like your involvement, I
Well,
guess.
it's got to make sense for the owner as well. And so the way that we set our price is based on what we believe we could pull in from a management fee for 1 month. Now, I know some people that would charge about 2 grand or so for like handyman, things of that nature that will come in and kind of set it up. But that's a bit much for the people that are going to just manage it, unless you're getting like a designer that's going to come and do something and things of that nature. And so when you're looking at it and you're looking at the setup cost, I typically base it off of a one-time fee that's non-refundable, right? And it's based off of what we believe we can pull in on a monthly basis. And so on average, if you have like a 3-2, things of that nature, from a management standpoint, we put it between 500 and 1,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
For that one-time fee where we're putting you into our system, all the time that we're going to be driving and kind of running around to kind of get this thing going. There's
Right.
a lot that goes into it that people, like your friend may not
Don't
even
think about.
understand. Like you're going to be at IKEA probably 15 times and then at Home Depot because you forgot something. And so we do that one-time fee that's non-refundable to kind of make up for that dead space. And then after that, it's really the income you're going to make from having the unit live. And you having done 2 of them, you should be able to get a unit live in 2 to 4 weeks, right? Depending on your
The
schedule.
question about that.
Hmm?
How does the licensing, the like the new licensing requirements fit into like the arbitrage business?
So as far as I understand, you still like they actually have this on there. You have to get the owner's approval, right, on the signed documents, at least in the city of Atlanta, and
Mhm.
kind of turn that in. But you would be the short-term rental agent. It's like the same process, but you would get the owner's approval that you can
Mhm.
short-term rent, and you can kind of do it from there.
So does the owner need to be? They don't need to be licensed to operate or to have like a short-term rental business, right?
Correct, but it's the owner or property manager. Sorry, if you're doing arbitrage, right? It's the
Yeah.
owner or property manager would have to sign off on it. And so I forget if it's Airbnb or somebody else, but they actually have a list now. I think it's Airbnb. And Eric, please correct me if I'm wrong. They got a
Mhm.
list of places now that are open to the arbitrage model. Like they'll give you the list. Hey, these
Wow.
apartments are friendly to it. But if they're friendly to it, they're going to be charging a good amount, right?
Mm.
Anecdotally, from talking to a couple people that are doing it actively in Atlanta, I know of a couple apartments that will charge you a premium, call it 2,200 a month for a 2 bedroom, and then we'll take 25% of your profits on top of that. So pretty much, if you have a cleaning crew, you're not making any money, and you're kind of just that would be your margin. The money you can make is from doing the cleaning yourself, and that kind of takes away a lot of it. But that's what I've seen so far.
Yeah, that's tough, right? Like if they're taking a quarter of your earnings and then they're upcharging you on the rent, I wouldn't go into a deal like that. And I wouldn't go into a deal. And I heard this really from like one of those Instagram ads, and they're so targeted now. Like I really be like looking at them, right? But I wouldn't like go into a deal under the impression that the owner is like doing me a favor, right? And that like they're benefiting me really from like doing this lease, right? Because there are like 1,000 apartments, right? And there's 1,000 landlords. And I would try to spin the conversation as like, really this is a mutual benefit, and more so I'm doing you a favor because I'm going to be the best tenant you could be, or you could have, right? So I'm going to be I'm going to be taking care of maybe more maintenance than a regular tenant will be willing to take care of, right? Because I'm making money off this unit, right? And I want it to go well, right? So unless it's like something big, the AC, there's water coming out of the wall or something, right? I'm going to be fixing probably more things than normal. I'm getting you can, look at the cleaners that we use. I'm getting a professional cleaning company. And hey, I'm actually, I don't know if I mentioned this last time, Miracle is cleaning some of my
Oh,
units now.
nice.
And I know, yeah. She said she
Yeah.
cleans for you as well. So I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, she's like her and kind of the few staff that she brings are like the regular team now. And that's been going great. Definitely taking like a huge weight off me and my girlfriend's back, honestly, because she was the cleaner and I was like the main laundry guy. So it's been nice. But yeah, I would try to spin the conversation, right? It's like I'm doing you a favor, to be honest, right? And ideally, I'm getting regular rent. I'm definitely not giving you any of the money that's being made. That's for sure. And I would probably, I'm sure that's going to take a longer time to get the ball rolling and get set up, right? And find someone who's going to be willing to do that. And I think you probably are going to have a better chance going to like a private owner, someone like me, right, who just has a unit, right, or a couple of units, and so basically like a private owner compared to a huge high rise or a huge building, because I definitely think they're going to want some of your profits. They're going to want to upcharge, and they're going to like be very much so hands on or looking at what's going on.
Desmond,
Yeah.
100% agreed. And one of our very own, I'm not going to mention the name, I'll let them tell their story when they join in the future. But one of our very own actually is doing this. They bought a house hack, they put one of their units for long term rent, and a nurse reached out to them and or some of you know who I'm talking about. A nurse reached out to them to work through this and say, like, hey, can I rent your unit? But I'm actually going to be doing a midterm rental with other nurses that I work with. And this person was like, absolutely. And so now they're benefiting from getting their price and having a nurse, kind of manage that whole thing and do kind of their own maintenance, own cleaning, and pay a premium to do that. And one of the things we talked through was like, hey, what would make you feel comfortable doing this? And in my mind, I would just go for like a double deposit, but I'd be open to this. If somebody came to me in Louisville for some of those properties and was like, hey, arbitrage, I'd be like, absolutely, count me in. You can do it. And I think you're right about going after private owners. And one of the ways you can find them, if it's not on one of those lists from Airbnb, is just go on apartments.com, go on Craigslist, Zillow, look at the properties that have been listed for, 20 days that aren't rented yet, and reach out to the owners. Hey, I can pay your rent, da 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 da, but this is what I'm looking to do. Can we sign a long-term lease?
Absolutely.
Is
And
there
I
a way
told you
to sort
I'm
the
doing that
listings?
challenge.
Say again?
Is there a way to sort the listings like from the longest it has been listed all the way down to like the shortest, soonest?
In full
Earliest?
transparency, I haven't looked at an apartment in a long time. All right. I'm looking at house hacks. So I'm not sure. There probably is. I'm not sure on that. But if you go Craigslist,
That'd be interesting.
apartments.com, there's definitely going to be houses that have been listed for, 20 days plus, and I'd approach those people.
Definitely. And that's a good idea, finding the people that they've been trying for a long time. And I told you, Nia, I'm doing this challenge, the exercising, right? So I've been walking for dollars here recently, looking at, oh, that'd be a good one, right? Let me write that address down and whatnot. So yeah, definitely like bullish on that idea. So if anyone knows any good area or properties, East Point College Park area, let me know.
Done
I'll go
and
after them. But
done.
yeah,
And welcome. How is IHOP coming, man? No, you're good. Do you have dynamic pricing integrated? And have you started playing around with like that weekday pricing? Smart pricing? Yeah. Yeah. Airbnb smart pricing is a no-go, right? Because they're always going to try to take you lower than what you could get. Like for example, there was and I only know this because everybody kept saying, "Hey, we're coming for Taylor Swift," but there was a Taylor Swift concert apparently, like a week ago or 2 weeks, and so everybody was booking up and kind of coming from there. And if it was up to Airbnb smart pricing, you'd get a lot less than you could get kind of pulling in with the dynamic pricing. But I'd continue playing around with that during the week, especially early on until you get some reviews in. Once you get, I think it's now 3 reviews, they start to show up, and then it makes it easier for you to start to take price up little by little. But that downstairs as a 2-1 should be booked up constantly if you put it at the right price. And when you're setting the dynamic price and you put that minimum in, you're not saying that the weekends are going to hit that minimum. Weekends should be way above that, right? But it may take it down to that when we're like at a Tuesday or a Wednesday. No, really at a Tuesday, and maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday aren't booked. Maybe it takes it down to that price and pushes it out, and somebody books that for you, if that makes any sense. Hey, come on now. And to that point, what is everybody doing from a review standpoint? I think I've talked ad nauseum about kind of some of the messages we send out automatically. But Eric, Desmond, Kareem, what are you doing to encourage reviews?
So I guess I started it more recently, but I think on Hospitable, I basically have like a message after, like 3 days after, if they haven't reviewed, just basically saying, reviews are like really good for Airbnb hosts. Like if you enjoyed your stay, please like consider leaving a review. And that's like one thing I had. And I think also in like my checkout instructions, I had something too. It's like if you can give feedback on the place, please like consider giving us that as well.
Yeah, that's what I've done as well. I kept it in 2 places instead of 1. So the 3-day reminder after the checkout and the night before checking out as like a first reminder.
Yeah, I could probably do a better job at like requesting them. So I send a message like the day of checkout, and I include in there, hey, please leave a reminder or please leave a review if you like the place or whatever. But I don't follow up really after that. When I first started out, I did, and I would like personally be like sending these messages out, hungry, like and trying to get them. But now I think it's at least on Booking, and it's funny. I'm still like very heavily skewed toward Booking.com reservations, and I'd be curious to hear, what platforms. I'm guessing it's Airbnb for most folks, but Niyi, I'm particularly interested to hear how it's been going for some of the properties and if you lift them up yet. But yeah, so I just send the one message, but I think I will try to put in a 3-day message after. I think it's just tough because if they already have left a review, then it's like I need to manually go in there and cancel, or like, it would just seem weird for them to get that. So that's the only thing. But yeah.
All I heard, Desmond, is that before you were hungry and sending messages, and now you're eating good. You're not.
Yeah, whatever. Just give me the money, review or not. No, that's funny.
No, but
Nice.
but for the
What's your
people that
personal
you're going above and beyond for, you definitely gotta like pursue them, and you can automate this, right? It's not like, hey, you gotta physically send the message, but I would pursue them, especially early on, and maybe do what Kareem and others were talking about before. I've done that before, and it's a good strategy. You just got to make sure it's not for a $10 stay. You need to make sure that just pay the fee, call it a marketing fee, pay that person back, and get that review in there so that people can see, okay, a detailed review. Oh man, I love this room and that room, and he had this detail in there, and it encourages more people to leave items like that and kind of point it out.
I'll say too. I wanted to like do fake reviews, but it's funny. It honestly, and it was around Christmas time when it went live. It went live on Christmas Eve, so it was a super hot time. But it got booked up like super fast. But that was also, I think, it helped because my price was lower, and I kind of looked around and did some competitive analysis a little bit, and I set intentionally a lower price to kind of attract folks. Right? They asked me, "Hey, do you want to do the discount?" So that's something you could do. But yeah, I was offering. It was a pretty solid discount, right? When you went on there and looked, and that definitely helped folks, at least come and stay. And I think that helped fill up some of the weekdays as well. And I would heavily pursue those. But I was double texting some people like, "Hey, like I know you liked it, like you told me in person, so."
You said you liked this. All right, I need you to write this down. One thing
Better than a
I
bad review. Better than a bad review.
agreed. One thing that I used to do, we don't do it as much now because it's literally we'd be driving around all day doing this. But when I had just the 2 units that were walking distance, giving a wine bottle, like a bottle of wine, $10 or less, with a handwritten note. If you do like 3 or 4 of those and just leave it there on the counter for a guest checking in, that almost guaranteed a 5-star review. Because like, oh, so thank you so much for the wine bottle, and they'll kind of think about that later.
I forgot.
Yeah, I love that. Oh,
I do
damn.
Krispy Kreme. It gets delivered.
Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme, $25
That's
box.
sweet.
$25 box, and it's a gift box. You get to write on it whatever you want, and it gets delivered to the property for $25, like all inclusive, including delivery and tips, probably, and all that.
And you still do that now?
Yeah,
Like, are you still doing it? Nice.
I do
That's
that
pretty
instead
cool.
of like if I feel like someone
That's super cool.
like something happened and they got like a little disappointed or a little inconvenienced, I feel like it's a better taste that you send them a gift than you offer them like, a $20, $30, $40 off, something like that. And I usually do it the day get delivered the day of the checkout. So it might be easier for like a quick snack or quick bite on their way out or like on the road. And I
Smart.
think it's been paying off. I don't do it every guest, obviously.
Okay.
But
That's what I was
when
gonna
I
ask.
like, I need to sweeten the deal a little bit, I do that. Who doesn't like Krispy Kreme?
No,
So
that's
so
awesome.
so basically, yeah, you do that for like the people that have problems, right? Is what you're saying?
Yeah. If the problems
Okay, I
are
got
like small enough.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, filet mignon.
If the water heater was out all night, we want filet mignon, all right, and some steak with all the fixings. Fellas, we are coming up on time. I appreciate you all joining. The reason we're coming up on time and not continuing right now is we got the Sixers versus the Celtics, and I got some bread on the Sixers, so I got to go see this thing.
Word.
You guys jumping
Word.
on, and I will catch you guys next week, man. Everybody be safe.